downs for the Cards, 10:46 to play, first quarter, no score.
He said it, Cal. Since he's been, the starting guy at that fullback position, he has come to play. He has been money for them.
It's a position he played all throughout his middle school years and then became more of a defensive threat in high school. Hamilton's second man through and grabbing on as Chase Little won't let go. It's a stop for no gain, maybe even a short loss. Now they will give him a yard. Hamilton, pretty generous spot there, I thought, as Little had him hooked early. 2nd and 9 from the 29. Clock running, just over 10 minutes to play in this first quarter. Opening drive for the Scott County Cardinals after a deep kickoff that was mishandled momentarily. Crowd continuing to file in here. Probably tailgating in the warmth of their cars for this one. And now we've got a timeout on the field. It's going to be Scott County wanting to talk it over with 9:48 remaining first quarter.
Well, they waited a while to get that play in and just didn't get out of the huddle quick enough, so they had to take a timeout before the play clock ran down. Easy to take a timeout in the first half. You're not so worried about it. It's the second half when that'll get frustrating to you because you want those timeouts at the end of the game.
You definitely don't want to use them all up. First half, though, you're right. A coach is inclined to, we don't want to take any penalties that are unnecessary at this point. Don't want to get yourself in a hole early. So the Cardinals on second down. We'll stop and talk it over.
But you can already see that Great Crossings has said, okay, Andrew Hickey, if you could beat us if, you could make that long pass because we are going to put 8-9 guys in the box on every play. They are just going to say, we're going to take the strength away from you, which has always been that run game for the Cardinals. And if you could beat us one-on-one off the line, then so be it.
Straight hand off to Colvin, and he is wrapped up quickly.
Big tick right there.
Warhawks read that one, and again, it's Chase Little. He's had himself a hot start to this game on a cold night. No gain. It will be 3rd and 9.
Got off the block and made the tackle in the background. What a stick.
Chase Little, one of those many seniors that has paid their dues on this Great Crossing defense. They've held opponents to 13 points per game. That's about where Scott County ended up, 14 the first time around. And now we've got time again. Looks like Great Crossing will call this one as Simon Vanderpool wants to talk it over with his defense.
Well, and it's too big of a play. We talked about the first 6 or 7 minutes of the game. You got 3rd and 9. If he saw something he didn't like, again, just like we just talked about, hey, it's one timeout in the first half. This is a huge play. If they can come out and stop Scott County, get the punt, then, again, that confidence is going to start building for them. It's so hard to do a game like this, because we do both teams. And,
especially for me, I get so used to dealing with these kids, and you kind of adopt them as your own, and then you realize that half of them are going to be delighted and thrilled and exuberant at the end of the night, and half of them are going to feel the lowest of the lows and know that their season or maybe even high school career is over. Here we go. Hickey takes the snap. He will throw left flat. Garner had to jump a little bit for it, and Jarve Ray made a nice play to jar it loose, incomplete. It'll be 4th down and 9, and the Cardinals will have to punt.
And Garner slipped a little bit coming out of his break, but it was still an excellent play by Jarve Ray. He comes up, perfect timing, knocks it out of his hands. That was a good ball by Hickey.
He threw. It wasn't really a high throw, just enough that Garner had to leave his feet a little bit, but Ray just all over it, perfectly timed his hit. Christian Rodriguez back to punt. Gets it away. It's a good one. It will take a hop past Drake Bird. He'll let it go, and Scott County will down it just on this side of the Great Crossing 30, and that's where the Warhawks will go to work at their own 31 with 9:04 remaining first quarter.
was looking for the Scott County students. I saw we could see right across from us the Great Crossing student section, but normally they're over here, but they're down the way this time. So good student section for both teams.
Gabe Nichols, junior quarterback in the shotgun, hands it off to Caden Allen. Allen hit right away, and there's just not much there. A couple of yards off the left side. Gang tackled by a bunch of black shirts. Looks like Isaac Krebs was the first man to get him. 2nd and 8.
Well, early on, we're seeing terrific defensive line play by both teams.
It is playoff football right here. It's going to be try to saddle up your defense and minimize your mistakes on offense, and looking a lot like it did the first time around. Again, now it's a fake handoff. Nichols will keep it on the left side. Again, not much there as he fights his way shy of the 35. He might have picked up a yard. It'll be 3rd and 7. And they'll actually mark it back closer to the 33. So essentially no gain. Warhawks will face a 3rd and long with 8:05 remaining first quarter. Scoreless here in Battle of the Birds 2 for the right to move on in the KHSAA playoffs. Looks like the newsgraphic.com YouTube broadcast is up, so we thank you for joining us if you're there. You haven't missed much if you are just joining us. Nichols kind of off the wrong foot. Throws a little middle screen to Caden Allen. He's going to be shy of the first down, stopped at the 38. And it'll be 4th down, and it should be a Caleb Perry punt for the Warhawks. Cardinals defense answers the call with a 3 and out.
They do. That was a good check down by Nichols. Don't force something this early in the game. Didn't have his primary receiver in Perry, so he checks down, throws over the middle for a short game. Maybe he could break a tackle. He didn't, but that's okay.
Perry, good end-over-end kick taken at the 26. Jeremy Hamilton stumbles and then gets stopped shy of the 30. Good coverage by the Warhawks. Lacasco was there, along with Peyton Harris. The Cards will go to work offensively for the second time tonight. 6:57 remaining first quarter. They're at their own 29-yard line. No score. Picked up 1 first down on their opening drive as Luke Colvin had some success on the ground early. The Warhawks were onto it after that. Hickey under center. Hands off to Colvin. Colvin's got a running start, chugs across the 35 to the 36. That's a gain of 7. Putting Scott County in some good down and distance situations anyway.
It really is. When you can get 2nd and 4 with this offense, every call in your playbook is open.
Get some running downhill. And we've already seen they've thrown that play action once. It was incomplete to Garner, but it was a good throw by Hickey. He's made his share of good throws this year, completing just under 50% of his passes, but his touchdown to interceptions ratio is more than 2-1. Colvin again with a head of steam at midfield, and he's tripped up there. He would have been gone. Drake Bird made the nice play to get a helmet on him and stop him at the Great Crossing 48, but it's a gain of 16 for Luke Colvin.
Well, you talked about it at the top of the hour, that's the guy that they've been relying on. He just continues to run hard, holding on to that football. Just a big bruiser of a back. And the longer he does that, you'll start to wear down that defense. He's
very confident. I talked to him on Tuesday. He basically predicted he was going to go about for 200 yards tonight. He said, I'm just getting started. He gets this one across up to the 45. It's a gain of 3 more. Said he had 180 yards last week against Catholic in the rain.
And it's always good to be humble, but when you play this game, sometimes you gotta have
some swagger.
Some swag. That's right.
And he's both these teams have their share. They've talked a lot all season. Hamilton left tackle, a lot of room across the 40 to the 35, pushed out of bounds, but it will be another first down for the Cardinals. Ray made the tackle. 5:18 remaining. First quarter, Cardinals now at the Warhawks 34 and on the move.
And when they start running on you like this is where you start seeing that play action pass.
Yep, Jeremy Hamilton's a weapon in both those ways. He can run it or he can get open down the seam. There's Colvin tripped up quickly by Little again. Also coming in to help was Caleb Perry. No surprise there. Perry, far and away the leading tackler on this team last year. He's the third leading tackler this year. It's been much more evenly divided. These Warhawks swarmed to the ball as they did there. Gain of 1. Maybe not even. We'll call it 2nd and 10 because they just spotted it just past the 34, inside the 34. Clock rolling with 4:30 to play. First quarter, a quick moving one, no score. Colvin will be split out to the right side. That's an interesting look. And it's an empty backfield, and now we've got people in motion and mass confusion, and that may push back 5 yards. Scott County may have surprised itself with that formation. It looked like they were trying something to catch the Warhawks napping.
They were, but that's that old NFL play where when the defensive lineman moves, it causes you to jump.
Right.
I think that's what happened right there.
When they kind of roll over.
Yeah. Fisher, he saw the guy go in motion, and he didn't go off sides, but it caused the offensive lineman to jump. So
2nd and 15. That backs it up to the 39. That one's going nowhere also. Hamilton, first man through, but Trey Combs and Will Frazier met him for a loss of a yard. Now it's 3rd and 16. So you've gone from running downhill to running for your life right now with 4 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Yeah, Chase Little that time running him down. That's a just terrific effort when you could get to the play when the back's already past you. He ran him down. That's a great job.
Phenomenal quarter for Chase Little here defensively for the Warhawks. 3rd and long. Hickey will fake the pitch. He didn't have much time to throw, and he underthrew it. He might have got hit a little bit at the point of attack, and it falls incomplete, I think. Luttrell was down there along with Bird. I think Bird caught it on a hop.
Yeah, and I tell you, Bird doesn't slip right there. He's going to intercept that ball because Hickey did get hit right as he released it.
We've seen him do that before, and looks like they'll play the field position game here and at least line up in punt formation.
Yeah, this surprises me.
Me too.
But, with the loss, the play before that, you do have it on the 40, so it is 4th and 15. The way your defense has been playing the game.
Rodriguez way back at his own 46. He will kick it. He will try to angle it. And he did a good job. He got it inside the 10. It's taken a Scott County roll to the 6. And that's where the Warhawks will start. Great job by Christian Rodriguez, a freshman. 34-yard punt.
Drake Bird tried to sell that right there. He did a great job of selling it like, I'm going to catch it. The guys were on him, but the ball just didn't go anywhere. Normally on this artificial turf, it'll keep on rolling and get into the end zone. But that time it took a sideways bounce, and Scott County got exactly what it wanted out of the punt.
1st and 10 for the Warhawks.
At their own 6-yard line, the Warhawks with 3:30 to play, first quarter. Nichols, now it's Perry out of the Wildcat, and he won't have much there on the left side. Maybe gained a yard. Cam Keller with the initial hit, and there was plenty of help.
I think when they got this close to the goal line, let's give it to Caleb and see if we can get a push and get out of danger before we start throwing the ball.
It's your best bet. Put it in the hands of your best guy. They'll hand it straight off, and again, very minimal gain to the 7.
And this is where, if you're Ricky Bowling, you're saying to yourself, okay, do I trust my quarterback right here to make a throw, get us a first down? Because if you don't, and you're punting out of your own end zone, you're going to give Scott County the football in terrific field position.
And a lot of things can go wrong punting from your own end zone, too. 3rd and 9 from the 7. Ticking down to 2:15 remaining in a scoreless first quarter here in the Battle of the Birds playoff. They're just going to hand it off. A lot of room, first down and more. Sidestepping. Zach Morris across his 35, and that's just what the Warhawks needed. A run of 30 yards to get out of a big hole. As the sophomore getting it done.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, they're playing conservative, and he gets 30 yards out of it. Coach McIntyre on the defensive side for Scott County is livid on the sideline.
It's that by-committee approach. Zach Morris has come on in recent weeks, and he showed it there. He'll do it again across the 40, second effort, staying on his feet to the 43.
And I tell you that, not a huge game, but I love the way he's following his blockers right there. Two big guys out in front. Let me put my hand right on their back, and they're going to let them lead the way.
Second down and about 4. Minute and a half remaining, first quarter. No score. Caden Allen this time puts his head down, gets to the 45, but that's it.
Well, you said it. Put your head down. He was running hard.
He got met by Isaac Krebs. We stopped him for a 3rd and 3 from the 45. A conservative approach employed by both teams here in the first 12 minutes of the game.
Yeah,
and now we've got
they broke the
huddle with 12 men.
Yeah.
We saw one scurrying off, and that'll be a 5-yard penalty, illegal substitution. And that's costly because it makes it 3rd and long. We march back to the 39. It'll be 3rd down and 9, 46.7 seconds left, first quarter.
Yeah, you got to be thinking to yourself, we got 3rd and 4. We've, 46 seconds to go in the quarter. We talked about, taking that haymaker and surviving, and they've done that. But that's a big penalty right there because 3rd and 9 is
they've converted 1 3rd and 9 on this drive, but it's hard to keep doing it, especially against the Scott County defense. And nothing there from Morris this time. He'll be lucky to get to the 40. Smothered there. Andrew Wilhite came up. Luke Valencia as well. He's a good-looking sophomore on this defense. And now we've got an official's timeout. 4th down and 8.
I'm not sure what they're huddling. I don't see a flag.
Nope. The officials are talking. They kind of pushed the Warhawks back. I don't know if there was. And again, the official signals timeout. We're going to continue the discussion. Now they're calling Jim McKee out. I'd love to tell you what's going on. Now they're pushing Scott County back. Like you said, no laundry on the field. Both head coaches.
I think this is.
I don't know if there's stuff being said on the field, and the referees are trying to nip it in the bud.
And this could be, look, this is your warning.
Yeah.
And
after this,
not, we're gonna
open season.
Yeah.
It's been a fairly clean quarter. The flags have been basic miscues, jumping and moving. And they haven't thrown any big ones. And now the team's being called. I would love to know what this is.
Well, though, as the officiating crew, you had to know this was going to be an emotional game. This should have been done before the game.
I guess they're giving the coaches the chance to give that word to their teams and say, look, knock it off. And
I get it, but
yeah,
again, it's playoff football.
You got to expect there's going to be some emotions.
Emotions are going to be high. It's
This isn't.
This is not a Thanksgiving.
This isn't an inning class or a Bible study.
Yeah.
This is playoff football. You know, sometimes things are going to be said and done. You just got to turn the other way within reason. Obviously, you don't want anybody getting hurt, but aside from that,
That's the end of the first quarter.
and the time will tick off at the end of the first quarter. So after all that, we don't even get a play. Your score: Scott County 0, Great Crossing 0. It's been mostly on the ground, and it's been a lot of punts. No turnovers as of yet.
A lot of hard hit, though, that's for sure.
Dance team from Scott County, entertaining the crowd. At least they're moving around, and most of us are sitting here staying cold. So, got to think they've made the right choice tonight.
I'm not going to complain too much, though. We're inside.
Yeah, we're behind a window, which you predicted correctly last week would stay closed, other than the microphone cords that are sticking through it.
But we sure can't complain. I didn't. As much as we talked about last week about the weather, I don't think I realized how hard it was raining until I walked to my car.
Yeah.
And I got drenched.
Yeah, I was worried about my phone doing post-game interviews.
Yeah.
That's always my concern. Total yards for the first quarter, 89, pretty much 94, split evenly. 48 for the Cardinals, 46 for the Warhawks. Time of possession also pretty equal, 6:23 for the Cards. So not a lot of patterns to be analyzed here. Colvin, 7 carries for 35. Morris, 4 carries for 39, have done the lion's share of the work. Looks like they're going to come after the kick in some form or fashion here as Perry is back at his 28. He'll get it away, end over end, angled towards the Scott County sideline. Scott County's going to come out of it with pretty decent field position at the 32. On the first play of the second quarter, the teams have switched ends. Scott County going left to right in this district playoff, trying to stay alive against the rivals. Both sides aiming to get to next week and make a trip to Lexington to face the Frederick Douglass Broncos. It was one-sided in each case during the regular season. Scott County lost 35-0. Great Crossing, I think it was 38-7, if memory serves. They scored a defensive touchdown late. Here's Colvin plunging ahead to the 37.
Well, they're just going to keep feeding.
Feed the Bulldog. He gains 4 here. He carried it 7 times in the first quarter, as we mentioned. He has not shied away from the work. He took over that position at the Ballard game 2 weeks ago. Had a tremendous night there and only picked it up even more at Catholic. Again, Colvin just shy of the 40 before he is met by Lacasco. Combs. And that's about it on the bottom of the pile. So Colvin gets it to the 39. It will be 3rd and 4. You've got some options here in short yardage if you're the Cardinals.
You do, but Cal, I was just thinking how good Great Crossing has played both of those plays, and now it's 3rd and short. That tells you how tough Colvin is.
Yeah, you're not going to have a lot of negative plays with Luke in the backfield.
Oh, fumble.
Fumble, ball's on the ground. Scott County covers it up as Perry right on top of Hamilton after he scooped it. So that's going to be another 3 and out.
That seemed discombobulated from the start.
Yeah, it did.
Feel that way?
Yeah, it did. It looked like
I almost looked like he was trying to pitch, which I know is not in their playbook.
It's almost like anything that hasn't been a handoff to Colvin in this game so far has been discombobulated. Rodriguez. Line drive punt. Bird will just let that hop dead at the 32, and Great Crossing will take over there with 10:37 remaining in a scoreless first half.
Well, even though the score in that first game was low scoring at 14-6, there were still a lot of opportunities to score. It just didn't happen. Here, it's just been a defensive struggle.
This has been both defensive standing tall and a lot of gang tackling. Neither team has really gone for the jugular on offense. They're trying to just nickel and dime. As I say that, Nichols drops back and has a lot of time to throw, but he throws it way over everybody.
Well, that's just Jeremy Hamilton.
Hamilton blanket coverage on Zachary Kelly on the far sideline, and that just it flew 10 yards over both their heads. It'll be second down.
Great Crossing has run that play before where they flood the left side. They come back to the right side, but Hamilton was going to have none of it. He had him locked down.
2nd and 10, Nichols in the shotgun. He hands it off to Morris. Morris met quickly. Again, Krebs came up and made the first contact, and others cleaned up. Luke Valencia made the final wrap up. And it's 3rd and long. Call it 8.5. The clock will tick down to 10 minutes remaining in this half. Neither side has really gotten close to the end zone yet. Little shovel to Perry, and he is wrapped up. No gain there. Jackson Saylor made the stop, and it will be 4th and 8, and Perry will kick it away for the Warhawks.
And I'm a little surprised right there they didn't let Gabe throw the ball. He's done it all year. He's been successful all year. I don't think you go away from it now. But really, if you take away the fullback dive play that went for 30, down at the end zone, they have basically got nothing.
That punt takes a little bit of a Scott County bounce, not much. It'll be covered up at the 34, and Scott County will take over there. So 9:15 to play here in the second quarter. No score. Thank you for joining us here on the Game of the Week, Game of the Year to this point, brought to you by Kroger. And hey, y'all, I got to tell you about something new from our friends at Kroger. They've been here for over 90 years. We'll get to it after this play. It is Colvin again up the middle across the 40 for another gain of 7 on first down as he continues to crank out the yards for the Cardinals. Kroger's doing something they've never done before, bringing the fresh groceries right to you with a new service called Hometown Pickup. That's right. For those of you in Cynthiana, Georgetown, and Midway, you can now order all your fresh food online and pick it up at a central location in your hometown. Learn more and place your first order at Kroger.com/hometown. 2nd and 3. Colvin again, churning forward past the sticks, should be a first down. Scott County hasn't had many of those. It's only its 5th at the 45. They're just doing what they do.
Yep.
First down, Scott County.
I keep waiting for that play action, which they do so well when they've pounded and pounded and pounded. Usually they'll have a guy wide open.
That is usually what this sets up. It's indeed what they will do. He looks deep to Hamilton, and as you said, wide open touchdown, 55 yards. Andrew Hickey to Jeremy Hamilton.
Beautiful play with Hamilton coming out of the backfield, a wheel route. They fake it to him. And the tight end is going over the middle, which took the deep safety away, and that left Hamilton wide open down the sideline.
In the words of the prophet, Scotty Sutton, called that one. We've all seen our share of Scott County football over the years. It was a matter of time. That play to the seam, he called it at the end of the Ballard game, and it looked like it was going to work, and Ballard got to him, but Great Crossing just didn't get to him here. Kick by Jacob Bange is good, and with 8:10 remaining in the second quarter, it is Scott County 7, Great Crossing nothing.
This is where Great Crossings has to say, okay, don't hang your head. We knew they were going to have a score here and there. We've got to come back and do what we do. And I hope they let Gabe throw the ball. He's done it so well all year long. He's only really tried to cut it loose twice, I think.
Yeah, they have not thrown it a lot in recent weeks. And
he had the dump off to Caden Allen over the middle in the first quarter, and then in the second
the
quarter,
pass to Kelly,
yeah.
which Hamilton covered
Yeah.
brilliantly. It's been that kind of game for Jeremy Hamilton. It's been that kind of season in all phases. He strikes here to give Scott County the lead, 7-0, 8:10 remaining second quarter. The freshman Andrew Hickey, rave reviews from everybody who has watched that man and come into contact with him. They're expecting big things as this offense just might get a little more pass-oriented over the next 3 years. We shall see. Bange will kick it off on a hop at the 12. Taken by Great Crossing, spinning across the 25 and stopped there. Flag coming in late. Johnson on the return, Isaiah.
I think it might be a late hit by Scott County.
Either a late hit or a face mask. If so, it will help Great Crossing, although right now they're kind of looking like it's going to go the other way. Let's see. Yeah, I guess it's going to be a hold or a block in the back. Yeah, it's a personal foul, but it is against Great Crossing. That's interesting to be called for the late hit or whatever on your own return. But again, they issued the warning.
Well, Caleb Perry was, clapping his hands right there. And it wasn't even around the ball. It was away from the ball. So I thought for sure they were going to get Scott County with just a little light bump after the play.
That backs it up to the 13-yard line, and Great Crossing's got a long way to go to tie this one up with 8:03 remaining in the first half at its own 13. That handoff was botched. It's on the ground. Scott County says they've got it, which, of course, every team does, but the referees agree. Cardinals with a big break. Quinn Brown comes off the bottom of the pile, 5'11", 265 pounds, senior defensive tackle. The botched handoff. And once again, Scott County in business.
And now if you're the Warhawks, you have got to have a stand right here. You go down 14-0 midway through the second quarter. With this defense, it's going to be tough.
At it to the 13, the handoff straight ahead to Colvin. He's across the 10, still on his feet to about the 6. Man, he is like clockwork, 7 yards on every first down tonight.
Well, and the other thing, too, is your defense, they thought they were going to have a break, and now all of a sudden they got to run back out there after they've been on the field for quite a while.
Yeah, it seems like they have been on their heels here lately, continuously. They will stick with Colvin, and why not? He is up to the 2. It should be first and goal.
First and goal, I believe I'd stick with him for 4 more downs.
Scott County fake score here would match what they did in the entire game earlier this season, all in the space of about a minute. And we know Great Crossing trailed 14-0 last week, but trailing Collins is a little different than trailing Scott County in a playoff game, I think.
Whoa.
Well, second effort for Hickey as he got stood up. That quarterback sneak that Coach McKee has employed a little bit more this year with his athletic freshman 6'2", but he didn't get much of a push there. And they'll have to try it again, or at least try to run it in again on 2nd and goal.
Yeah, but you got to give credit to Trey Combs and the big bodies up front.
Oh,
right
absolutely.
there.
They stuff it pretty well.
Yeah.
This is not an easy team to run that play against.
2nd down and goal.
Midway through the 2nd quarter, Scott County trying to punch it in again. Hickey hands off to Colvin, walk-in touchdown for the senior fullback. 13-0 pending the extra point. We got flags down. Hold everything. Going to be, again, we're going to see a lot of those, I think, after the end of the 1st quarter when it appeared like the officials issued the final warning. Shouldn't affect the touchdown if it was after the play. Touchdown is good. Dead ball foul, personal foul against Scott County. So that'll be assessed on the kickoff, which will come with 6:05 remaining in the 2nd quarter. Jacob Bange will try to make it 14-0 here. Good effort and blocked by Lacasco. They came in. That's the Scott County specialty right there. Blocked that extra point coming in off the edge.
Yeah, they overloaded that right side. Excellent job. But there is a flag down. That may have been offsides.
That could be it. That might be why he blocked the PAT. Another extended discussion by the gentleman in the striped shirts.
It can't be that hard, can it?
And another personal foul running into the kicker. And now they'll just put it down and go for it. I say, do you go for 2? And nope, they'll keep the T out there.
You give that great effort to block the kick. I was always under the impression if you blocked it.
Yeah, maybe they ran into him first. Usually if you block it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I know it's that way with the punting now. With an extra
point,
usually
it's
if you get any part of that ball on a punt, you could run into the kicker. There's no assessed penalty.
And now Jim McKee wants an explanation. They stopped the game again here. .605 remaining 2nd quarter. This point after attempt has taken 3 or 4 minutes of real time between the first attempt and then a couple of conferences.
Still huddling.
And after all that, once again, Andrew Wilhite will hold for Jacob Bange. Okay, they declined the penalty. If you decline the penalty, wouldn't the blocks? I'm so confused.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe they just declined the yardage from it. Bange makes good on the second opportunity, and with 6:05 remaining in the 2nd quarter, it is Scott County 14, Great Crossing nothing.
Well, not to continue to harp on it, but you're right. It's like a situation where you say, well, we're going to decline it because we made the extra point anyway. But right there, they didn't. It was blocked. So how can you decline that penalty? If you decline it, just like you said, that the play stands and the play was a blocked extra point. So
Can you accept the penalty, quote unquote, but say you don't want the yardage? I mean, that would be tantamount to declining the penalty, I would think. In any case, it is 14-0. And they've already dragged that play out long enough.
Well, the only thing I could figure is that you may have the choice to take it on the kickoff or on the PAT, but you got to take it one way or the other. And if you're going to take it for the PAT, which you would have done since it was blocked, you, as an official, you're not going to say the penalty was declined. But
now they almost forgot. It's been so long, they almost forgot they have to mark off a personal foul on the touchdown, which happened about, like I said, 5 minutes ago.
but there will be a quiz on this.
It's getting cold, guys.
At halftime.
My goodness. So they will kick from the 25. We knew that much, although it almost was forgotten.
You missed it. Chase on.
And we'll see for the second week in a row, Great Crossing in a 14-0 hole. Last week, they answered with a kick return. Can they do it again? No. Tripped up at the 35. Isaiah Johnson went head over heels. Looked like Jackson Saylor came in and did the work for the Cards. 6 minutes even. Warhawks will start at their own 39. They have been held to one first down in the game. And other than one big play that created that first down by Zach Morris, a 30-yard run, they have done almost nothing offensively.
And I know you want to shorten the game a little bit by running the football, but game has been so good for you all year.
I think your hand has been forced here. You're going to have to put the ball in the air. Nichols will roll to his right. He's got a wide open man. Zachary Kelly runs under it. That was a blown coverage reminiscent of the play in the first game 2 years ago that was a fake punt, only this was out of a legitimate offensive formation. And I don't know how the Cardinals got caught napping there, but it is 6. And snapping right back are the Warhawks. Zachary Kelly, he's had some spectacular touchdown catches. He just had to run underneath that one.
Did he come off the sideline?
It's like Rosie Ruiz entering the Boston Marathon for the last mile or something. No, that was it. He was lined up there, but he had nobody on that side. And I mean nobody.
Yeah.
The only drama was he going to get overthrown or was he going to be able to keep his hands on it?
Yeah.
And there we've got the offside. The whistle blew before the block here. So
I actually think that's going to be on the kicker.
Yeah, he kind of flinched.
Yeah. But I'm like you. I thought just for a second the game may have overthrown him. But he made a great catch, reached out just on the fingertips. Ironically, Scott County blocked that extra point, but the Great Crossing's penalty is on themselves, saved that. So
61-yard bomb, and now Jesse Fair will try to make it 14-7.
Jesse Fair again. That's an extra point. Caleb Perry to hold.
Kick is up, and it is good. 14-7.
Well, after 0 points for a quarter and a half, we've had 21, and not quite like last week where we have like 21 points in a minute and a half. Well, pretty close.
Nobody within Zachary Kelly's zip code, and he brings the Warhawks back into the game in tandem with Gabe Nichols. And we have a ball game, 14-7. First time around, it was 14-6. So the offenses might have figured some things out. Where Scott County took advantage of a very short field for the last one.
That's an enormous play right there for Great Crossing.
Yeah, just like last week, they absolutely needed a play to keep this from getting out of hand, and they get it.
And you got to, if you're Great Crossings here, you got to come out and get a stop, go into the locker room. You say to yourself, okay, we're going to get the football coming out at half. We're only down a score. If you're Scott County, you're saying, let's feed Colvin the ball a few times to see if we can get into.
I would say.
Oh, they're going to try to onside kick them. Oh, loose.
That's a squibber and covered up by the Cardinals at their own 36.
Well, now you got plenty of time with 5:48 and 2 timeouts. You can really run your own offense.
Yeah, if you're the Cardinals, this is usually what they would like to do is run as much time as they can and take care of the rest of this half.
With the big boys up front right here for Great Crossings has got to play like they did the first 2 drives.
Colvin churning forward. The Warhawks were onto it this time. That's probably the shortest gain he's had on first down all night. He picks up a couple.
Being a 3 on the play. Second down and 7.
Second 7. They'll give him 3 yards as forward progress to the 39. Little counter to Saylor. And Saylor pushes forward. He gets dragged down at the 43, maybe the 44, but it's another 3rd and short for the Cards. Call it 2.
That was an outstanding run right there. Made a guy miss in the hole. Or it could have been 3rd and long. You get 3rd and short, you got to feel like you're going to go to Luke Colvin.
3rd down and 2.
And jumping all over the place. Looks like that'll go against Scott County on the right side of the line.
And with the reaction right there by Hickey, I think that might have been in the huddle. Hey, this time we're going to go with a hard count.
And it fooled his own guy.
And
that is something you would do on 3rd and 2.
Yeah.
And they've done that a couple of times to themselves tonight, cost themselves good down and distance. It's now 3rd and 7 at the Scott County 39, 4:27 remaining in the half. Cardinals lead 14-7. Warhawks just scored on a big pass play to get right back into this thing. Hickey will throw. This time it's pretty well covered. Luttrell, and they're going to call Mason Wiley, and boy, it was close. Maybe a touch early.
Well, the 2 secondary officials did not throw the flag. That actually came from the sideline judge about 10 yards back. I tell you, I'm like you. It was close, but it's a bang-bang play. I'm just not sure you can throw that flag.
It costs 15 yards if you're Great Crossing, and it gives Scott County the first down. And they will be in Warhawk territory at the 44. So that's a big one. It turns from 3rd and 7 to 1st and 10. And now with 4:10 remaining, the Cards have the clock as their friend and field position as their friend. And the scoreboard too, 14-7 lead. Counter, Hamilton, right side, first down. Up to the 30. Gang tackled there by Lacasco, Bird, Perry, and Ray. But not before another first down. That's just such a dangerous play when you get Jeremy Hamilton some room on the outside.
Well, that's the patented play for him. I was watching one of the Wiley kid was getting that jersey pulled. He was highly upset with the official.
After he just got called for a penalty, he was certainly upset. He Looks like Colvin again leaning forward for a couple. Chase Little once again in the middle of it, along with Trey Combs, 3:29 and counting. 2nd and 8 at the Great Crossing 28. Scott County trying to build on a 14-7 lead. Touchdowns by Jeremy Hamilton and Luke Colvin. So senior leadership being served here so far. Also a big play by the senior defensive tackle, Quinn Brown, to recover a fumble to set up that second score. That handoff looked like it was botched, and then Hamilton comes through as the second guy and picks up good yardage almost up to the marker.
That's just an unbelievably individual play by Jeremy Hamilton, because they had blown the play up, and it was almost like he took the ball. Hickey wanted to keep it, but he was getting destroyed, so they went ahead and took it out of his hands.
Hickey was trying to decide whether to put it in Luke Colvin's belly or keep it, and Hamilton just said, nope, me. 3rd and a couple, just shy of the 20. 2:30 to play in the quarter, in the half. Colvin again for a first down across the 15. Luke Colvin says, give me the ball.
The Scott County O-line fired off that time.
That was Caleb Clary on the tackle for the Warhawks.
Plenty of time if you're Scott County. You still got 2 timeouts. You're on the 14-yard line. You can do just about whatever you want, but they're going to call timeout.
Timeout for the Cards with 2:10 to play. They'll have one left after this. I got a feeling Jim McKee will not mismanage the time here. He gave himself a hard time a couple of times about the first time around in this series where they had a golden opportunity before the half.
Well, but now you're down to 1 timeout, so
you can now order all your fresh food online.
I mean, you still got plenty of time, but you're not going to be able to walk over and get a play and go back into the huddle, and you're going to have a little bit of tempo to yourselves.
So the pass interference call extends this drive, which is at the Great Crossing 14 with 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play. I want to thank our sponsors. Probably the last time we'll have a chance this year to say thank you to some of them. Bluegrass Orthopedics, Georgetown News Graphic, of course, Galvin's on Main, DMK CPA, Chick-fil-A, Toyota Motor Manufacturing of Kentucky, Clark's Pump and Shop, Georgetown Community Hospital. Thank you for all your support, and we look forward to basketball season. Here's Hamilton on the sweep again. He's hung up at the 10, ankle tackled by Jarvey Ray, but another good gain for Jeremy.
It was a good game. That's an excellent open field tackle, though, by Ray, because I thought Hamilton was going to score on that. But we got a flag down, Cal.
And is it going to be coming back? Is there a hold on this side? That tends to be where that gets thrown. We had an awful lot of conferences, which you want them to get the call right at this point in the season, but personal foul against Great Crossing. For what? I couldn't tell you.
Well, now you're going to have first and goal.
Yeah, it's going to be inside the 5. It's going to be half the distance from wherever the play ended. Call it the 4 or the 3.5. I think the question is whether there'll be a first down, and it should be. The line to gain is the 4, and that's right where they mark it. So now they'll have an official's timeout to measure, I think, after the chain gang dropped them.
Well, I'm going to have to brush up because for all my life, a personal foul was an automatic first down. So I'm not sure why you're measuring.
I'm trying to think if I've ever seen one where it was more than 15 yards to go or it didn't create a first down. You would think when it's
I just thought it was an automatic personal foul, automatic first down. But
I think it is at higher levels. They have measured and it will be short. So they're going to make it third down. They've already changed the down marker. Here we go. After all that, they'll hand it off to Colvin. He should have the first down there. Oh, I don't know where that official's coming in from the side.
But the thing is, what is the down?
I was going to say,
Because
if it's not a first
down,
down, it should have been third down there. And that's pretty significant if you're the Warhawks right now.
because the scoreboard had first down, the sticks had first down.
They didn't
but
give Colvin any yardage there.
Now they're just saying second on the sticks again, which
That
I'm
doesn't
so
make any
confused.
sense at all.
Yeah.
Unless it's an automatic.
Which if it was, why are they measuring?
If it's an automatic first down, it should be first and goal, not first and where the sticks were before. Colvin will push it in and make it all academic, I think. And the signal comes in late, but it is a touchdown for the Cardinals with 1:03 remaining in the first half. As he gets a lift, does Luke Colvin from Merrick Bowen, one of his linemen who created the space. And the Cardinals have taken that commanding 2-touchdown lead again as they answer right back. Been a strange second quarter, Scotty.
Yeah.
Been a lot of points scored, though, after a scoreless start. Bange, they come in and almost get it this time, but he splits the uprights once again. 21-7 Cardinals, 63 seconds remaining in the first half. I don't know if the cold weather is getting to everybody's heads or what, but there's some stuff I haven't seen all season. (21-7) Cardinals lead over the Warhawks. Also want to thank West Banco, Greens Toyota of Lexington, Oser Paint and Flooring, Scott County Veterinary Clinic, Time to Shine Car Wash, Steve Skierman, Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, Burger King, Domino's Pizza, Sword Performance, Jersey Mike's, BMT Maintenance, and of course, Kroger Hometown Pickup. Sponsoring tonight's coverage. Got to tell you about something new from Kroger. They're doing something that's never been done before, bringing fresh groceries right to you with a service called Hometown Pickup. Anybody in Georgetown, Cynthiana, Midway, you can order your fresh food online and pick it up at a central location right in town. Learn more and place your first order at Kroger.com/hometown. Rodriguez will kick it deep, taking out the 16 by Johnson up across the 30, but he's stacked up there. Good tackle by Hamilton on special teams. Who else? And with 55.4 seconds, the Warhawks will have a little bit of time to go back to work. They will have the second half kickoff, so be interesting to see if they take a shot here, if they just say, you know what, cut the losses, regroup, and let's try to start with authority in the third quarter. And timeout Cardinals as Coach Monty McIntyre wants to talk it over with his troops on the defensive side of the ball. Other than the one blown coverage, they've had a really good night, Scotty.
Yeah, they have. They've done outstanding. Just when we were saying you got to start letting Gabe throw the ball. And
He did.
He did. With the guy wide open, but for the most part, really you take away the fullback run when they were down on their goal line, which on third and long, and they kind of surprised them. They got 30 out of that. And then the long touchdown.
Yeah.
You take those two plays away, they haven't done anything.
That was all of their offense in a nutshell. The one conventional first down and then the touchdown. You do have to be wary if you're Scott County of Caleb Perry, who was split out to the left side. Zakari Kelly will be on the right. The ball is at the Warhawks 32, under a minute to play. 21-7 Cardinals lead. Nichols, he'll just swing it out to Johnson, and Krebs with great pursuit will take it down at the 30. That's a loss of a couple, and Isaiah Krebs has led this team in tackles for loss all season long and gets another one.
Stayed in bounds too, so the clock's running.
That probably will convince the Warhawks to just cool it here. You don't want to turn it over and send it for 6 the other way. That would just about be the end of the night. And there it is, a quick snap that Nichols barely turned around to see, and Krebs will get him again after he scrambles for a couple. And that, I think, will persuade Ricky Bowling to say, you know what, let's take it to the locker room.
And Gabe has got his arms up like, what is the play call? But Coach Bowling is saying, let's let this thing run out.
And that will do it for the first half of football. Jim McKee trying to make a point to somebody there before he heads off. Cardinals have put 21 on the board, which is more than they accomplished the first time they took on the Warhawks, as they have capitalized 3 times here in the second quarter consecutively to go up 2 scores. We'll talk about all of Scott County and Great Crossing sports here at halftime. We'll review the volleyball team, got to state this week and what happened to them, and then maybe talk a little bit about basketball as well. And we'll have some stats for you. Looks like we're going to have a joint band performance, which is always fun. We'll get to relive the good old days of the biggest band in the land.
There is some words being shouted.
Something going on down there as they go into the field house.
You can see they've got people getting in the middle of them. So,
I mean, it's a cold night, so they don't usually both go into the field house. I think usually Scott County just stays on the field, and it's an awkward situation until both schools have their own home stadium for sure. Everybody going safely through the doors now, so that whatever it was cooled off.
I don't know if it cooled off. But they got them,
at least cooler heads prevailed for the moment.
Where they needed to be.
It's a challenging situation to play the team from across town in the first round of the playoffs, and I don't think anybody really loves it. Coach McKee the other day says, look, for the health of football and, just for the tradition for years and years and years, you played other teams from around the state, and that's fun. Fun for the kids, fun for the fans. You got to love that Isaac Krebs just made 2 big stops on that last defensive series, and now he's playing a horn in the band.
That's good stuff.
Multi-sport athlete, as Jim McKee likes to say, has never made a B in his life, and playing in the band at halftime. (21-7) your score, and Scotty, things going Scott County's way. The turnover really, despite the big play and the lapse defensively, they never, after that turnover, really lost control of this thing.
Yeah, it was huge. It allowed them to go up 2 scores, which made it tough. But having said that, when they got the big play, the break that they needed, they kicked off with 5 minutes and 48 seconds to go, and they had a chance to get a stop there, and they did. And that's where Scott County's O-line just took over. And that's tough to swallow. As I've told you, Sam has told me on many times, if a team just going to run it, you can't stop it. That's the most demoralizing thing as an athlete that can happen to you. And that started to happen towards the end of the game.
We've got the first half stats. Total yards, 180 for Scott County on 32 plays. Great Crossing has run half that number, 16, for 110, and 92 of those 110 yards came on two plays. A 31-yard run by Zach Morris on the 61-yard touchdown from Gabe Nichols to Zachary Kelly. For Scott County, it's been death by a dozen paper cuts if you're the Warhawks. It's been mostly Luke Colvin, 19 carries for 85 yards. He's got 2 scores, both short runs. His longest run of the night has been 12, but it's been consistently 4, 5, 6, 7. And just keeping the chains moving. Jeremy Hamilton, 8 for 35. He's been a factor as well with a 55-yard catch for a touchdown. That's the only completion for Andrew Hickey so far. The only completion for, not the only completion for Nichols, I guess. These stats don't add up. They've got Caleb Perry for 2 completions, and he didn't throw that pass that I know of. So as far as the defensive side of things, Kreb, we mentioned with the 5 stops, he's got 1 for that loss. Cam Keller, Luke Valencia, Elijah Adams have been the big tacklers. Mason Wiley, Caleb Perry, Chase Little, and Trey Combs leading the way for Great Crossing. Scoring summary, we mentioned the 55-yard pass. Jeremy Hamilton from Andrew Hickey. With 8:10 to play in the quarter, it was scoreless up to that point. A lot has happened since then, 7-0. Luke Colvin with the 1-yard run to make it 14-zip after the fumble recovery by Quinn Brown. That made it 14-0. 17 seconds later, blown coverage. Zachary Kelly with the touchdown reception to make it 14-7 with 5:48 to play. And finally, Luke Colvin on the 5-yard run.
And Cal, I believe you just said 32 plays to 16 plays. And that's where that defense, I mean, you just start to wear it down. And when they're pounded, and they run, 15, 16 more plays than you have, then it takes its toll.
The first 6 series of this game ended in punts, 3 by each team. We got through the first 4 minutes of the second quarter before we had any points on the board. And then since then, Scott County has just been running downhill.
Yeah. What does it say with the time of possession?
Yeah, time of possession, 15-21 for Scott County, 8:39 for Great Crossing. So that's also roughly 2-1. So those are telling statistics. And again, you're looking forward to next week. If Scott County finds a way to close this one out, that's exactly the game plan you need next week. Is to control the clock somehow, some way. And they may have the different look to do it with Colvin in the backfield. We will see. Certainly is a different dynamic than they had the first time around this season. But a long way to go here, 24 minutes. Great Crossing capable of the quick strikes as we've seen all season. That could be. I guess maybe that was Perry on the pass. It was such a wide open play. It's hard to I was pretty well focused on Zachary Kelly. Was he going to be able to run under that or not?
And that might have been why nobody, it was like, okay, it's the Wildcat. Let's crash it.
Along with percussion coordinator Brandon Brooks. The marching cards are the field command of drum majors Elizabeth King and Ethan Sexton. This year's brass captain is Lucas Kinzer, and percussion captain is Bladen Dykes.
We've got the band continuing its presentation at the halftime. After this, and as soon as the football playoffs are over, we will turn to basketball. I'll have several people working with me to bring you a lot of basketball coverage this winter on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. More than 20 games among the 4 varsity teams in the county. We'll have wall-to-wall coverage of the Toyota Classic, which we want to remind everybody has moved to December 8th through the 11th. So that's right around the corner. After Thanksgiving, you won't have much time to make your plans for that. Fall season winding down quickly as the Great Crossing volleyball team lost in 5 sets in the KHS AA round of 16 at West Jessamine the other night. Great season for them. First 11th region championship for any sport in the history of the school, which is only 3 years, of course.
Did you get a chance to cover that?
I did. It was quite an atmosphere. Capacity crowd. They had one side of the gym completely filled up. Good turnout from the Great Crossing student section again. Kind of a tough situation. I know the KHSAA is up against it as far as sites and management and all that stuff, but it's a pretty tough thing, I think, when you're playing a state tournament on one team's home site, especially inside a gym. Maybe a soccer field is one thing where you're out in the open air, but it's such an advantage, I think, when you're indoors. And a lot of technicalities and a lot of stoppages in play that were a little bit of gamesmanship, I think, in that one, to say the least. But certainly a great team that Great Crossing was facing, and it was a kind of a flip flop of the region where Great Crossing had that home court advantage, and they also had the revenge factor on their mind. In this case, it was the Colts that had the revenge after losing in the regular season, and they took advantage. And they lost to Sacred Heart today. It looks like it's the private school invitational at this point, from what I could see this afternoon. So that's what volleyball usually turns into after the second round of the tournament.
Yeah. Where are they playing now? Where is the state tournament now?
It is at GRC. So the new beautiful facility over in Winchester hosting that.
It'd be great if they could play that at Memorial Coliseum, or I know even Louisville has a beautiful volleyball facility.
And again, it's so much. I mean, people say, well, basketball gets this and basketball gets that, but basketball is just the highest revenue in football. I mean, they get those sites because they bring in thousands and thousands and thousands of fans,
Right.
Not just their own, but casual fans. And that, it's not, it's one of those life isn't always fair things, but it's just the way it goes.
But as we've seen, volleyball is starting to get a lot of support.
It is, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
The state soccer, boys soccer title went to an 11th region team. Paul Lawrence Dunbar won that for the 5th time.
Pretty good program.
They've done their share, and they've had we got a new coach took over a couple of years ago, and the same old results. So great for the Bulldogs. Whoever comes out of that region is always going to be a contender in just about everything, just like the 6th and 7th. It's pretty unsurprising when that happens. Big news on the Georgetown College basketball front last night. The women's team defeated the Division I NCAA program, beat Morehead State 73-64. So
Is that right?
that is something that has not happened in a long time, if it's ever happened. And they've got some serious confidence on. They have a girl on their team, a woman on their team, who is a Morehead State transfer, and she played like she was wanting to prove a point. So that was a great win for the Tigers. They outscored the Eagles, I believe, like plus 21 over the final 15 minutes or something like that. It was a major turnaround. And it's a major turnaround for the team, which only won 3 games in its COVID-shortened season last year, and already has 4 if you count that exhibition win last night. So Georgetown men will travel to Eastern Kentucky on Tuesday night and play against Michael Marino, Cooper Robb, A.W. Hamilton, and the gang. That's the season opener. That'll count for EKU. I don't know if Georgetown's calling it an exhibition or not, but it's one of those deals.
I saw where Coach Hamilton was going to be at Galvin.
He was also on Tuesday night. The gang was all there, getting the local fans fired up. I think they're looking forward to having McBrayer Arena, Alumni Coliseum, whatever you want to call it, full of fans again. 5,000 or 6,000 a night. There's a fee for pitch. That program has turned around in no uncertain terms since A-Dub took over, and they're, of course, in a new conference. The A-Sun picked to finish second behind Liberty, and A-W said that's okay with him. We're the new kids on the block. We don't expect to be ranked number 1. We'll earn our respect and go from there. So,
and I tell you, that arena could get really loud. Of course, that's been the home of the 11th region basketball tournament for quite some time. So
I said that to Michael and Cooper. I said, you guys are used to having 5,000 or 6,000 people in here, but half of them hate you in those years. And in this case, they're all going to be your fans. That's got to be a great feeling. And it's like, yeah, it's definitely something they're looking forward to after the COVID season. So what are you expecting from the second half as the teams come out here? Great Crossing's going to get the ball, and they're going to have to do something with it to stay in this game, I would say.
They are. They're going to have to open it up a little bit. The biggest thing is that offensive line is going to have to give him some time to throw the ball. You don't have to throw it every time. It's just 2 scores. But I do feel like as good as Scott County's defensive line has played, that you're going to have to start throwing it on first down here and there. But if Gabe doesn't have time to throw the ball, then that's when he's going to start getting banged up. That's when he might start a rush of throw, and then that's when the interceptions come. So the O-line is going to have to give him some time to throw the football.
They also need to create some seams for the running game. They have not had much. Caden Allen has been limited to 2 carries for 2 yards after we saw him get so much work last week. I don't know if that's just an effort to keep him fresh for defense or what, but Morris has had the most carries, 5 for 41. (21-7) your score, Scott County over Great Crossing.
And as we've laughed about many times, I'm sure they'll put 5 more minutes up here on the clock.
Yes. We're not going to start as soon as the clock tells. It's amazing to me.
That is a football thing, isn't it?
Just start with 20 minutes instead of 15 and say, okay, this is the hard, fast number.
I've seen teams come out of the locker room in basketball and officials are like putting the ball down because they're not out there in time. And in football, it's like, oh, okay, come on. We'll put 3-4 more minutes up so you can get your exercises in.
Night like tonight, you want to stretch those muscles a little bit. The game time, the kickoff temperature was certainly probably, I would say, in the 40s. And right now I'm checking 37 degrees is the time and temp here at 9 o'clock. Got the disco fever going here at halftime, breaking out all over the place. Winner of this one will get Douglas. Douglas lost last week 34-7 to Boyle County, one of the 4A favorites. So certainly a game I think people objectively expected could go either way, but that score was a little surprising.
It was. Boyle County jumped on them. They said, just like what you and I had discussed, but I read an article that said pretty early on when Boyle County jumped on them that Douglas started arguing with themselves.
And we've seen that from time. We saw that 3 years ago against Scott County in the second round of the playoffs. And if you're Scott County and you polish this game off, you go into that one thinking that's what you got to do. You got to get the lead and go from there. Boyle County, they've got some ballers on that team. Cole Lanter, the receiver, I think he just finally got his first D1 offer after that game from Murray State. But that's a team a program that's in the mix every year.
He's the kind of guy you want on your team.
Yeah, you want guys that are winners. You want guys that are winners and don't hurt your team and don't just make plays.
That's right. If I'm a Division I, everybody wants this. They just want the 6'3", 200-pound guys that run the 4-4. But there's something to be said about that slot receiver that'll go over the middle and make that third down catch. And that's the kind of player I think he could be. And
the game's really changed. Those guys have become NFL players, as we've seen many examples.
That's exactly right.
Over the years, so it's not always the guys who have the measurables going on. Certainly, Douglas has plenty of players with the measurables. Dane Key committing to Kentucky and 7 or 8 other Division I kids on that roster. It's going to be a challenge for whoever comes out of this one. But Scott County has seen its share of challenges this year on the schedule. We mentioned 5 top 20 opponents. Eventually, you got to beat one. You got to find a way to finish one off.
Well, they're not going to be intimidated. That's for sure.
No.
That's their record, as you mentioned. 5-5, but this is a team that's been a part of. I think these was the sophomores that went to the state championship game.
Yeah, freshman, sophomore.
Yeah, so.
It's fair to say a lot of teams would have a 5-5 record if they had played Scott County's schedule. Yeah. So it's nothing to sneeze at. Banj will kick off. Johnson and Perry deep for the Warhawks.
Number 6 is Isaiah Johnson. Number 8 is Caleb Perry. Kicking off for the Cardinals. Right. Senior Jacob Bange.
Student section's getting into it here as Bange will kick it short. It bounces around to the 20, picked up there. Some good room for Drake Bird on the right side. Extra effort gets it across the 40, and a good return to get the Warhawks started here in the second half.
And I've been looking for that all year long, where the up guy actually, they don't just say, okay, let it bounce to the back guy. He's an up guy. He picks it up, makes a great run. Now you got 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line, and that's what the doctor ordered if you're Great Crossings. Give Gabe Nichols a chance to do what he does best, which is throw the football. And again, we talked about here, they're flooding the left side with 3 receivers.
They come this way to Peyton Harris. Short, minimal gain there as he's stacked up at the 43.
That's outstanding defense right there by the Cardinals. Just a quick pass. They tried to block up front. The receivers tried to block, but so many guys were rushing to the football. That's Monty McIntyre, the defensive coordinator, at his best right there.
2nd and 9 from the 44. Nichols to throw it, slant to Kelly. He makes the catch at midfield, gets spun around there, shy of the first down. Hamilton helped make the tackle.
That's a good play by Nichols right there. Good slant pattern. Now you got 3rd manageable.
Jackson Saylor was there as well.
Gain of 7 on the play. Correction.
3rd down and 2.
3rd and 2, just on Scott County's side of the field. Warhawks' best field position of the night. Caden Allen, we said we hadn't seen much of him, and there he is. 1st down and more, stacked up at the 42 of the Cardinals. But there is a 1st down, only the 2nd of the night if you don't count the touchdown.
But that's what we were talking about. That's a throw on 1st and 2nd down, get you into 3rd manageable, give it to your bell cow, Caden Allen, and he gets a 1st down for you.
His 3rd carry of the evening moves the chains as the Warhawks try to get back in this one again. They cut the 14-point deficit to 7 once, and then the Cardinals drove and scored again to make it a 21-7 game just before the half. Nichols, plenty of time. Now he rolls to his right, being chased over toward his own sideline. Throws it on the run. Kelly goes up and gets it. 1st down at the 25. Barely tripped up or he was gone.
What a throw by Nichols.
That was a laser.
And Scott County had great coverage, but they talk defense. Coaches will tell you the eyes will deceive you, and they started looking at Nichols scrambling, and that's when they got away from the defensive back.
Hand off to Allen across the 20. Lots of room up the middle. It'll be at least 1st and goal inside the 5. He's dragged down there. Now the ball's on the ground, but they're going to say, what are they going to say?
I think they're going to say he's down, but boy, that's a dangerous play right there. I hope the young man's okay. I think he hurt his knee. He sure did.
My goodness.
Yeah. It was a horse collar.
And you hate to see that as Caden Allen, such a force on both sides of the ball.
Personal foul against Scott County.
Yeah, it's his right knee.
Definitely a horse collar, but it'll be first and goal as they examine that knee, and you just hate to see that.
Excuse me, his left. But Gal, they're actually looking at that lower left leg. It may be, instead of his knee, it could be right above the ankle.
And he will hobble off on his own proudly, but you can tell he's not able to put much weight on it.
That's such a shame. You don't want anybody to get hurt ever, but here in playoff football,
First and goal for Great
it's
Crossing
just
on the Cardinal 1.
First and goal from the 1. Warhawks trying to punch it in, but a lot of the energy got taken away by that injury. Trying to get a surge there. Second effort will not get it done as the Cardinals stack it up. Jarius Patterson on the carry. Have not seen him all night or much at all this season.
well, this is where you miss Allen the most because he's such a strong runner down on the goal line.
Second down and goal.
Patterson and Morris in the backfield. Now up under center is Nichols, and he will sneak it. And the second effort will get him in the end zone. Touchdown with 8:57 to play. 8:56 to play in the third quarter, and the Warhawks cut it back to a touchdown again. And now who's down? Looks like a lineman, O'Doherty. The center is down for the Warhawks. So this has been a costly series, although it has gotten the Warhawks back in the game.
It's like his left ankle as well.
So for the second time, Great Crossing has answered to cut this to a score.
Perry to hold for Jesse Fair.
Jesse Fair to try to kick it and cut it to 7 under the hold of Caleb Perry. And that is partially blocked or shanked or both, but it is no good. Jackson Saylor came in and got a piece.
But if you're Great Crossings, you can't worry about that. You've just got to say, hey, we did exactly what we had to do. Come out of the second half, drive the ball the length of the field, score a touchdown, and get our team right back in it. You hope that O'Doherty and Allen both can come back, but as a team, they did what they needed to do there. So now the defense has got to stand tall. If you're Scott County, you just say to yourself, okay, they threw a punch. We're going to come back and do what we do, which is run the football.
Cardinals still up by a touchdown and a 2-point conversion with 8:56 to go in the third quarter. Warhawks did what they needed to do on their opening series. It came at a cost as both their starting running back and their starting center went down on the final 3 plays of it. We will see if they can get them back out there. It's a costly loss with Allen because it affects you on both sides. Don't forget, this Great Crossing defense has scored a touchdown in 4 consecutive games, and they will be looking to, if they could do that again, they would be right back in it. A short kick, almost getting away, is Fikert. He squirts up to the 38 before he's taken down. The Cardinals will have good field position to start this drive.
Mason Wiley is the tackle.
Mason Wiley makes the stop.
First and 10 for Scott County. On their own
Hickey, the quarterback, Colvin, the fullback. Hamilton and Fikert, the wings. They'll give it to Colvin. Powers ahead to the 44. And another good gain on first down for Luke Colvin, who's closing in on 100 yards for the night. That puts him over 90.
Just a big, tough, bruising running back.
What do they list him at? 6'2", 229.
Yeah, he's a tough guy to bring down.
He's a load. He'll get it again.
That's a great play by Perry right there. Just a good tackle.
Perry anticipated it. Came in right as Hickey was putting the ball in Colvin's belly, and only a gain of 1. 3rd and 3.
That's why the young man's going to be playing in the SEC next year.
Yeah, he has the instincts to go with his God-given gifts.
3rd down and 3.
They will go wide. It's the short side, though, where the hash
There you
mark
go.
was, and Hamilton didn't get anything there. He spun down for no gain, and now it's 4th and short. And a decision for McKee.
Well, it's just a good read to stay at home right there. They've run that play, and Hamilton's gotten wide on him every time. But that time, Perry stayed at home, made a good tackle, and this is a huge play. He's going to punt it.
Yeah, I think you have to. You can't get too full of yourself. Your offense has moved it at will in the second quarter, but a lot of halftime adjustments have been made, and I think you need to turn it over to your defense, and that's what they will do. Rodriguez to punt, standing at his own 31.
If you're Great Crossings, you got to be aware of the fact.
Now we've got a
I think
timeout.
they ran out of time.
Yeah. Yep, delay a game against the Cardinals. Now that'll take that takes the fake out of it too, I think, on 4th and 8. Not that I think that was part of the plan. So the Warhawks will get it back with a chance to potentially tie this game midway through the 3rd quarter.
Let's see if Bird comes up and fields this ball. They just kick
Rodriguez, those line drive punts, that one was kind of a shank. It'll die at the 45, so only a 10-yard kick. And again, you're almost better off going for it when that happens.
Well, if you're Great Crossing, I don't know what was said at halftime, but you came out, drove the ball, and scored. Then you got a 3 and out. Their student section is rocking. You're doing exactly what you needed to do. And I don't see Allen back in the game, but still got Gabe Nichols, a heck of a player.
They've got plenty of weapons. They've had to overcome injuries all year. Nichols escapes Keller. Now he sidesteps another tackler, still scrambling, still on his feet. Finally gets stacked up for a loss of about 3.
Now we got some pushing and shoving again. The score gets close and the tensions get high. Oh, you're going to get a flag on that.
Yeah,
You sure are.
A very late one.
Yeah.
As the chatter continued and boiled over a little bit.
Well,
Nope, they're just going to spot it.
Wow.
After all those warnings, and they buckled down on it a couple of times.
Looking, he was reaching for it. I think the other official talked him out of it, but I don't know how.
Nichols rolling to his left. Looks deep. He's got Perry down there. He's got a step. He gets it at the 10, the 5, drags Hamilton into the end zone. And this game is a 2-point conversion away from being tied, and we've got taunting as Zachary Kelly gets in Hamilton's face.
And that takes away that 2-point conversion now, probably, because now you're going to have another.
Last time they assessed it on the kickoff, so we'll see. It's a 59-yard touchdown pass. I can guarantee you Perry caught this one and Nichols threw it.
What a throw by Gabe Nichols. Going to his left, throwing across his body. An absolute dime.
And then Perry did the rest.
Yeah,
They're
dragging.
getting a step
Yeah.
on Hamilton and just dragging him the last 10 yards.
And when you're dragging Hamilton into the end zone, you're a man.
That is the two best football players in the county, mano a mano, right there.
Yeah, they're talking to Jim McKee, and he said, I'm going to take this penalty right now.
I guess you do get the choice.
Yeah.
Correction, that's a penalty against Great Crossing. That's an unsportsmanlike conduct, non-contact foul.
So the taunting penalty backs them up to the 18 for the 2-point try. Nichols will roll to his right, and it will get picked. That's not going to be able to be returned. This is not college.
But Cal, let's be honest about it. That was a huge penalty because you had a chance
cost
to
them a
tie
chance
it
to
up
tie
from
the
the
game.
2-yard line, and instead you're going from the 17-yard line. It's pretty tough.
Yep.
But again, if you're Great Crossings, you've had the ball twice, you've scored twice, you've held Scott County once. There were some motions running high when they were going into the locker room, and they have come out and done what they've needed to do.
I'm sure Coach Bowling challenged them to dwell on that, among other things, and let it simmer for a bit. They have come out blazing with 2 quick scores, and with 5:26 remaining in the third quarter, we have a brand new ball game. The Cardinals lead cut to 2.
And I would have liked to have been a fly on that wall because I don't think, from what I could tell, and we weren't in there, but you could tell when they decided not to go ahead and try to score and let the clock run out. You could see Nichols was upset by that. Then there was some jawing going back and forth. And I just bet these seniors stood up and said, hey.
That might have been what poked the bear.
Yeah.
Short kick taken at the 25 on the run. And a flag comes in at the end of the return. And we'll see. This might be one of those second halves where there's a flag on every other play at this point, which you hate to see.
You do, but you got to get control of it. So
yeah, I was going to say the officials have to do something. And the call on the PAT after the touchdown was the right call. I mean, you got right in the kid's face. You just can't do that.
Well, there should have been a flag to play before that.
This will be marked off against Scott County, so the Cardinals will start at their own 26. It's a holding call.
And we talked about it at the beginning of right there in the middle of the first quarter when they brought the teams together. But you and I, it must have just been some jawing because we didn't see anything blatant. But I have seen some blatant things, unfortunately, after plays. And you just can't, as a player, you've got to stay within yourself.
That goes nowhere as one of the few times all night where Colvin hasn't found much room on first down. Good pursuit with Trey Combs and others. Chase Little and company in the interior of that line. Second and 11 as Colvin got knocked back a yard. Hickey to throw. He finds his man for a first down. It's Hamilton up close to the 40 before he's taken down.
I love that play call right there. So many times when Scott County play actions, they go for the deep ball. That time they play action, throw underneath, but it's still a nice 15-yard gain, get you a first down.
And that's what they absolutely needed at this point as Mason Wiley makes the tackle, but not before they get the first down at the 40. 4:24, 4:23 to play, third quarter. Cardinals by 2. Colvin, again, not much there. Perry comes in and sniffs it out. Gain of 1.
Perry on the tackle.
There have been times this year I've thought it was almost like it was a point of emphasis to make sure other people other than Perry got in the mix for the Warhawks. But tonight he's been turned loose on both sides of the ball. It's good to see. They fake the counter to Hamilton, and then the throw high to Garner, incomplete. They had it set up, but Garner couldn't go up and make the catch on his sideline. 3rd and 9.
And that was just a fly pattern where Gardner just sticks the foot in the turf, turns around. He was open just a little bit high, but I bet Gardner would tell you, he'd be the first to tell you, I probably should have come up with that.
Last week in the Catholic game, there was a hook and lateral play where Garner pitched it, and they botched the pitch, and then he came right back and made a big catch on the next play that got him a first down. We'll see if history repeats itself here. He split out left. Hickey, lots of time to throw. He looks that way, but it was well read and lucky they didn't get picked off as Jarve Reyes had himself a night. And he does it again for the Warhawks. It'll be 4th down.
And Cal, the big bow has switched. It has been all Great Crossings in this second half.
4th down.
And another punt for Scott County. And Warhawks will have a chance to drive and take the lead here. Best punt in a while as that one takes a Scott County roll, a good, generous roll inside the 20. It's still going. Backed up to the 16-yard line. They're blowing on it and waving their arms and everything, trying to get it to keep rolling. But good effort. 43-yard punt by the freshman Christian Rodriguez.
Yeah, Taylor Luttrell was waving that ball.
Reminds me of the old baseball highlight back in the 70s. I think it was Lenny Randall get down. It was trying to
blow
a butt down the line to go foul. First and 10 Warhawks at their own 16. Long way to go, but they are back in this game. 3:30 to play, third quarter. Trailing by a pair. High snap. Nichols gets it down, gets it away to Wiley, makes his first man miss, gets it across the 20 to the 21, gain of 5.
And you said it. That's a terrific play by the quarterback to grab that ball. We've got a young man down on the field.
We have an injury this time. It's for Scott County. It might be just a cramp, or it's Quinn Brown who made the big recovery early in the game, getting some help. The physical toll starting to rear its head here on both sides. That's the thing. Whoever wins this game, you got to have something left for next week.
You do, but you can't tell any of them that
no,
right now.
It is
They're
all.
This is
everybody's Super Bowl at this point. And what looked for a while like maybe Scott County was going to put it out of reach, Great Crossing said, not so fast. Warhawks. 2nd and 5 with the ball. And a chance to claim the lead for the first time tonight. Nichols fake and across to Kelly. First down, 35 and at the 37. A good gain to move the chains. Zachary Kelly has had himself a bounce back night as he didn't get to do much against Collins in the rain.
Yeah, that's the same play they ran on the first drive of the half, just a quick slant pattern. Nichols puts it right in the stomach. Another first down.
Great Crossing spreading it around. They're running the ball just enough to keep it honest, but the passing game has brought them back into this thing. Zach Morris, zigzag across the 40 to 45, up spinning to midfield before he's taken down. Another first down for Great Crossing, 2:38 remaining third quarter.
And I love the way he runs behind his blockers. He's not just trying to blow through the hole. He's like, I'm just going to follow you all. He's not very big in stature, so I think sometimes he almost gets lost back there, but he does a terrific job of following his guys.
Zach Morris, 5'10", 180, but he does a good job hiding behind that line. Just a sophomore. He'll get it again here. Good head of steam to the 45. And a gain of 5 on first downs. The Warhawks continuing to click off yardage here as they drive to potentially a go-ahead score.
And, Cal, we talked about Caden Allen, but O'Daughtery's not in there as well.
Yeah, they have lost 2 key players here with Caden Allen and Kevin O'Daugherty.
Second down and 4.
Isaiah Johnson in the backfield now. Scat back, getting the job done to the 35. His best gain of the night. First down, great crossing.
And for the Warhawks, it's just next man up. The O-line is firing off the ball.
That's what it's been all season. They do not seem to get bothered, and they have all the momentum on their side of the stadium. The coach is going nuts.
Student section's going crazy.
Timeout.
The players. Coach McIntyre called timeout there, the longtime defensive coordinator for Scott County, and he said, okay, I've seen enough. Let's huddle.
Having its way at the line of scrimmage is great crossing right now.
But I tell you, in the first half, I had talked several times about I'd like to see him let Nichols throw the ball. This half has just been a beautiful run, pass, mixing it up. All the credit in the world goes to Ricky Bowling. He's done a terrific job this half of calling these plays. And he's doing it, as you said, with 2 of his most important key ingredients down.
They do not tolerate excuses, as you said. Next man up. They have built the depth and the strength. Seniors, juniors, and sophomores alike on this great crossing roster, and they are giving Scott County another battle for the second time this season. The Cardinals on their heels. What the Warhawks have been able to do in this game they didn't the first time is finish a couple. And this would be a huge finish if they could get it late in the third quarter. Nichols to throw again. Scrambles free. Couldn't get away from Jasante Harmon. He made positive yardage out of it. Give him a couple to the 33.
And that's why that run game is so important, because if he goes back there, if it's it's a pass play, they're going to give him a lot of pressure. But he did a nice job just to get 2 or 3 yards. That could have easily been a loss of 8 or 10.
Clock rolling at the end of the third quarter, 124, 123. It's 21-19, Scott County. Great crossing on the move. Inside handoff to Zach Morris to the 30 where he's brought down.
Boy, hit a hole there. I thought he might squeak through it.
Jackson Saylor closed it up, or he might still be running. They'll give him the forward progress to the 29. It's 3rd and 4.
And this is 4-down territory, so you don't have to get it on this play.
No, you've got a couple of chances here to extend the drive.
They're letting us play. There we go.
Play clock down to 10. Game clock, 37 seconds in the quarter. Nichols fakes to Morris and incomplete. A little bit of a low throw and behind the receiver. Perry tried to come back and get it. And now we've got a flag, a very late flag coming in. Perry was jockeying for one.
He was. I don't know if he was calling for a hold.
I don't know if he got held or tripped. I mean, it was a very late flag.
It was.
The play had been over for 3 seconds, so we'll see.
But this is huge either way. Because no matter what, if it's against Scott County, it's going to be a first down.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike, Scott County.
Well, they called it on Great Crossings after a touchdown. It's both ways. I didn't see anybody up in Perry's face that time, but he immediately got up.
Yep.
It was kind of had his arms up like, you really going to let this go?
First and 10.
Ooh,
Handoff, nothing doing.
big number 95.
Quinn Brown and Cam Keller, that's a lot of weight coming down there to stop that run. Couple of guys pushing 3 bills.
I think they're going to let the clock run here, get it to fourth down or fourth quarter, and partner.
Yeah.
We couldn't have asked for anything
This is
else.
what we've been leading up
Yeah.
to all year, and I think it was fixing to happen.
And that's the end of the third quarter.
There was a moment there, like you said, where I thought Scott County was going to take control, but it has been all Great Crossings here in the third quarter, now moving to the fourth, but it should be a great finish. This is great for both fan bases.
Yeah, I would say it's on now. The question, I don't think it was a question of if, it was always a question of when this would become a rivalry. You can call something a rivalry, but it has to develop into that. You have to have 2 teams with an equal chance. Otherwise it's just hammer versus nail. And it only took 3 years for us to get to this point, and I think this is where it's going to be.
Well, and really less than that in some of the other sports.
Yeah. Oh, and actually in a lot of the other sports, it has been kind of the other direction. In football, so much is contingent upon, for one thing, age and strength. And, frankly, Great Crossing was up against it the first year or two with not having a weight room or even a practice field at the start of their first season, and then COVID. And this is the first year where it's felt like really equal footing, and it has been entertaining, both games. But this one is going to another level as we enter the final 12 minutes of regulation. Great Crossing has second and a long 10 from the Scott County 15. Great Crossing dance team on the field.
I'd like to see some stats from that third quarter because
it was all Great Crossing.
Yeah.
Scott County punted twice. Zach Morris tried to follow his blockers, and he got stood up again by Keller and Brown. So a repeat of what happened on the final play of the third quarter.
Yeah.
And third and long.
The 2 big boys are playing some football for Scott County.
Yeah, the question is, you're in field goal range. We've seen Jesse Fair kick one from this far, but that's an awful lot of pressure with the lead in the balance.
And Scott County is so good
Good
at blocking
yes.
kicks.
Yes,
So good.
sir.
I
So
think
we'll
it all
see.
depends on what happens on this play.
Yeah.
If you get fourth and, say, inside of 4 yards, they'll probably go for it.
Nichols takes the snap. He's got his.
Oh.
He underthrew it big time and almost intercepted. He's very fortunate as Elijah Adams got both mitts on it at one point or another, and it fell to the ground.
Yeah, he read that from the get-go and could have high-stepped that to the house. It just came out of his hands.
Nichols staying on the field right now.
This will be a huge stand for Scott County.
Yeah, it's this is the biggest play of the game to this point. Now we're gonna have a timeout. Nichols shaking his hand. I don't know if it's just cold or he got hit. 11:13 to play in regulation. 21-19. Scott County hanging on by a thread as Great Crossing faces 4th and long from the 15 and has a decision to make.
I'm sure they're talking about it right now, but such a tough call for the coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough thing when you've got a freshman kicker.
Yeah.
He's got a strong leg, but he has been up and down. They've had PATs blocked. They've had a field goal block last week that turned into a touchdown. And if that happened now, it would be a season ender. more than likely.
Well, and you had an extra point blocked in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, Jackson Saylor got in. They've had a long time to think about it. Jesse Fair takes a couple of steps onto the field. Now he runs back to the sideline. I think they're going to go for it. You figure either way, if you don't get it, you put your defense in a good spot and force Scott County to do what it hasn't been able to do in the second half.
I think you got to throw it up here to Caleb Perry.
Nichols gets sacked, and that will do that. Isaac Krebs gets the turnover on downs with 11:07 to play. Krebs has had himself a huge night. So they eschew the field goal, and they never get the pass away.
Just too much pressure from that defensive line. When you get in third and fourth and long, they can pin their ears back and come after you, and that's what happened right there.
Ball at the 22, and now the Cards will try to run some time. Colvin spins ahead for a couple. Not much there as Morris in the game defensively, as well as Little tripping him up. Well, Morris is in for Allen on both sides of the ball right now. Second and 8, 10:43 and rolling. Cards 21, Warhawks 19.
Second down and 8.
Hickey puts it on his hip, throws deep. Ray is there. It's overthrown, incomplete. Targeting Saylor, but Ray had it well covered. Ray's mad at himself for not getting the pick.
They got a penalty on on Scott County, and they're going to see if they want to decline it or take it.
Be interesting. Be 3rd and 8 or 2nd and 20 probably.
I think I would take it. He's thinking about it.
They've had success on 3rd down in this half.
And they're going to push him back.
Yeah, because it's from the spot, it'll probably be a 12-yard penalty. So it'll be 2nd and 20 from where they threw the flag. Maybe even more than that. It will be marked at the 10, so it's 2nd and 22 with 10:23 to play.
And Scott County's so good at play action, but when you're in second forever, here's where a lot of times Scott County will just give it to that fullback and get 7-8 yards and make it third manageable.
Counter, read well by Perry. Not much there.
Again, Perry does a great job of staying at home, letting the ball come to him. So often you'll see teams against Scott County where they over pursue and that counter play or the end around is just wide open. But Perry has just done a great – you can see Great Crossings is the coaching staff, they've drilled it into their heads. You've got to stay at home against this wing team.
Hughley got the handoff. He gained 4, so it's 3rd and 18, under 10 minutes now. Hickey to throw. Complete. Spins away from one tackler. Still making an effort. 4 or 5 Warhawks converge to stop him short at the 25. And the Cards will have to punt once again.
And that's a good safe throw right there for Hickey. Does a nice job. Can you make one guy miss and maybe pick up the yardage? But a good tackle. He was hanging on for dear life until the rest of his guys could get there. So that's a good job by the Warhawks. And Bird has had no shot whatsoever of returning something. I think they know he could be. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, almost.
Gracious.
Now they got a flag.
I think he's down there, Cal.
Did he put his knee down?
It looked to me, I don't know why he threw the flag, but it looked to me like his knee was down. He's waving the flag. He's saying the punter was down. It's first down right now at the 12-yard line.
That is another huge, essentially turnover at about the same spot Scott County got one earlier at the 12-yard line.
I didn't think they saw it, but that's a great job by the head official. He was looking for his beanbag, I think, to throw to say, hey, he was down, and immediately said,
anyway.
yeah, so there's no flag, no penalty. He was just down at the 12-yard line. And Great Crossings had they weren't able to score inside the red zone last time. We'll see what they do here.
Morris only gets about a yard before he is stacked up. Cardinals defense has to stand up and be counted now. Ball is marked just shy of the 10. Second and a long 8. Morris again to the 5. Stop there. 3rd and short. And again, you're in field goal range. You're also in 4-down territory. You're down 2 with 8 minutes to play in an or else game.
I wonder if they don't go Wildcat with Perry here.
It's Nichols for now. Kelly split out to the right. Perry in the slot. Late handoff to Morris, and he will lose yardage. And now what do you do on 4th and 3?
I think they ran that thinking it was going to be about 4th and 1, but now I think you got to kick it.
Ball is at the 6. A field goal would be about 23 yards from the left hash mark. Right now, it looks like they're going for it.
Yeah, he's calling in the play, but play clock's running down with 12 seconds.
Snap to Nichols. Nichols scrambling. Throws across his body, incomplete. Had Kelly in the back of the end zone. 2 Cardinals collided, and they are both down. And that could be costly, even though Scott County gets a stop.
Garner and Hamilton. And just as we said about Great Crossings, you don't want anybody hurt. 2 of Scott County's better players. And they are both in some pain right now. Such an intense, emotional game. They're playing their hearts out. Both guys down, just as you said, trying to go for that ball. They just happen to run into each other.
We will hope for the best for those 2, as they are important on both sides of the ball for the Cardinals. You'd hate to see either team, although we have seen the Warhawks lose a couple of key players already in this one.
Hamilton, it looks like it's his left forearm.
Jeremy Hamilton. And 4 is Paul Gardner. Hamilton and Gardner.
Up and walking off. Yeah, Hamilton holding that left arm in a way that is not good. Garner just looking like he got his bell rung a little bit.
Well, the one thing about going for it right there is now, if
you trust your defense,
yeah,
right?
And they've stopped them this entire second half. So you just got to feel like, and, with Jeremy Hamilton is just as important as Caden Allen on both sides. You just got to have guys step up.
7:05 remaining in regulation. Cards at their own 6, nursing a 21-19 lead. They'll give it to a halfback and get some good yardage on 1st down. Ellis Hughley For the time being, they have lost Hamilton.
I'm not sure why the clock is stopped.
Timeout.
Well, they're arguing. They're saying we weren't trying to call timeout. Yeah, and they're saying okay. They're winding the clock.
Second down and 3.
Second and short. First down. It's Hughley again, as they have gone to that Colvin well most of the night, but a little bit of a change up here.
That was a tough run by Hughley because Great Crossing had penetration there. He broke a couple arm tackles and got what he had to get. Got him deep out of that end zone territory. Now Scott County can feel a little bit more comfortable.
The 21 now with time running down to the 6-minute mark. Hughley ought to be fresh. He hasn't had many carries tonight. Cards using every second of that play clock right now. Hughley again to the right side again. Only gets a couple that time. Cardinals have one timeout. Warhawks with 2.
But I'm not sure that's right, Cal.
I was going to say, did they take one down that they didn't call there? I don't remember them calling one.
They may have taken it off thinking that last time when they didn't want it.
2nd and 8, 5:20 remaining. Counter, Hughley. And he gets to the 27, so it'll be 3rd and 4. Hughley has done all the work on this drive.
Well, as you said, a fresh guy. Hamilton goes out. He jumps right in.
Colvin's, I don't want to say limping, but he's lumbering around out there. He is taking a pounding and giving one tonight as well. Clock down to 4:45.
I'd be surprised if they don't go with the big fella right here.
Counter to Hughley, first down. 5 consecutive carries by Ellis Hughley. And that will help the Cardinals run some more time with 4:25 to play.
And now if you're Great Crossings, you got to start worrying about the clock.
Yeah, you do.
Because not only do you have to get a stop, but then you're going to try to score. And you had two golden opportunities inside the 20.
That handoff was barely made at the last second, straight ahead. Not much there to the 35. This time it was Colvin.
Yeah. We'll see when Coach Bowling decides to use these timeouts. I think if you get a stop here, you're going to take one.
On 3rd down. And that's the play of the game at that point. 3:30. The Cards can march it down to about 3:13 before they snap it. They have not scored in the second half. Right now, the ball's in their court.
Oh, it's motion.
Yeah, a lot of movement there, and that'll set it back 5 yards. It becomes 2nd and long. Double chains. Double sticks, I should say. Behind the chain, and that's not where you want to be in the wing tee. Cards have not thrown it much, and they've lost one of their weapons with Hamilton.
He's over on the sideline. Yeah, he's going in right now.
Yeah, so
right on
that
cue.
might be the hint. Sometimes McKee he doesn't throw the ball much, but play the riverboat gambler when he thinks it might be open.
Second down, 14.
Clock running. It'll go under 3 minutes. So even with the penalty, it helped them run some time. It is Hamilton to the left side. Nothing doing. Stacked up at the line of scrimmage. And now will they call one of those timeouts?
Jeremy Hamilton with the carry. Will Frazier on the
Well, they're not. I'm surprised.
3rd and a lot, about 13 and a half. They can run the game clock almost down to 2 minutes before they snap it. You've got to get a stop here if you're Great Crossing. And then use your timeout before they punt. You'll have 2 minutes and 1 timeout at your disposal. Cards could pretty much put it away with a first down. Hickey throws it up, trying to come back and get it, and that'll stop the clock, so that'll keep the Warhawks from having to use one. So that's big.
Higgins pass is incomplete.
Well, 3rd long, it was 1-on-1. It's okay, we'll throw it up there. If we make a play, great. But I'm like you. Now they don't have to take that time out. But Great Crossing's been close to blocking punts the last couple times. Let's see if they bring the heat. It doesn't look like they are. High snap.
He gets it away. That's better than a low snap in this situation, as we saw, and that's going to take a good Scott County roll to the 31. 69 yards away from winning this game are the Warhawks with 2 minutes left.
Well, and both teams
A
will
field
tell
goal
you,
will win it.
if it gets down to 2 minutes and you have a chance to win in the 4th quarter, I think both coaches would say we'll take it.
It's what you want. Gabe Nichols rolls to his left. He's under pressure from Krebs. He throws it. It's just a floater that's going to be picked off. And a lot of room on the left side. Going to the house, perhaps. A flag's down. It's a touchdown if it stands. I don't think it will. Andrew Wilhite, the senior, makes the play. It was just up for grabs. And we'll see. There's a couple of flags down. Were they all on the return? If one of them was on the play and it was against Scott County, hold everything.
Well, Great Crossings rolled out to the left. They tried to throw it back to their receiver running a deep post route, but the safety for Scott County just stayed right where he needed to be. He stayed at home. He didn't over pursue on the rollout, and the ball just came right to him.
We'll see after they sort this out. We have Brandon Smith down on the field.
Yeah, it's a block below the waist.
Players blocking below the waist against Scott County.
But it will be Scott County ball. Minute 42. Warhawks have 2 timeouts.
77 for Great Crossings is Brandon Smith. Brandon Smith.
Isaac Krebs made that happen. He put the pressure on Nichols. I like what he's done defensively. I've only got one MVP award to give away, though, and with 2 touchdowns, that's going to be Luke Colvin for Scott County. Gave them the lead that they nursed throughout the second half. And Mr. Caleb Perry for Great Crossing will be the Warhawks player of the game. Kroger putting forth some prize money for the schools in honor of those players tonight. And we thank them again for their support of this big game. Hamilton just trying to drain some time. He's got to hold on to the football. Orion Fisher, Caleb Perry there to smother it. Clock down to 1:30. They'll use one of those timeouts, 1:29 to be exact. If they can hold them here, they'll have desperation time to do something. Maybe block a punt.
I was just going to say.
Maybe hope for another bad snap.
And I'm going to tell you, if Scott County gets it to the 40-yard line and it's 4th down, I would be shocked just to see them go for it, because why take a chance?
Yeah, you can eliminate
It's been scary. They had their punter went down on a knee. They had a high snap.
A lot of adventures in the punting game.
I would trust my defense, for a couple plays right there, as opposed to saying I'm going to lose this game on a block punt.
Got a little way to go to get there. It's 2nd and 11 from the Scott County 34. Minute 29. Straight handoff to Colvin. He's going to do away with all that because he's got a 1st down and more. Putting the wraps on that MVP. That'll be the ball game.
Mason Ryder on the tackle. And that is enough for a 1st down, Scott County.
Warhawks will use their last time out, a minute 10. That means Scott County has to snap it a couple of times, basically.
Well, the old saying, you dance with the girl who brung you in, Luke Colvin. When you had to have a 1st down, that's who you go to.
And they got him fresh by pounding the ball with Hughley earlier on the previous drive. It's been a while since Colvin had touched it in a meaningful situation. He's over the century mark for the 3rd consecutive week, and he will take the team on his shoulders, barring anything weird here, to Frederick Douglass 7 days hence.
The Cows a great game, and I sure did enjoy the year with you.
I sure did, Scotty. It's been fun. We've had no shortage of entertainment. As you said, we went a long way without any close games, and then we had 2 great ones to wrap it up. Yeah. So very similar situations. Great Crossing just could not get over the top in this one. They had 2 chances late that they will lament as Hickey goes into victory formation. They'll have to snap it one more time, and that will do it.
Just maybe we can get that week after next if we can get an upset next week.
I was going to say, you never know. We might be working together again. One more snap to Hickey. He will put the knee down. And your final score, the Scott County Cardinals 21 as they shake hands. You'll like to see that as the emotion setting in for the Warhawks. They finished with 19 and they finished the season at 8-3, but what a game. And the rivalry is on, folks. 2 good ones this season. For my partner, Scotty Sutton, for Brett Smith in the booth, for James Scoggin on the field, for DT Wells and Mike Scoggin putting this all together behind the scenes. It's going to be basketball season. We hope you will join us. Until then, get to Douglas next week and support the Cards, and we'll see if we can continue their run through the postseason. Until then, I'm merely Cal Oak saying good night, God bless, have a great weekend. See you on the sidelines, everybody. Thanks, my man. Appreciate it. Take care. Yeah, you too, man. We don't see you.
If you ever need it.
We'll catch you.